Good morning, everyone, and welcome to WellSprings. Hello to our folks here in Bell Hall, and hello to all of you watching online today. It's a beautiful summer Sunday, and so glad that we're here together to celebrate our love and our spirit. My name is Julie. My pronouns are she and her, and we're going to start off by singing. So please rise, whether in body or in spirit, and sing along if you know this first one.
So good seeds, everybody. So good seeds, everybody. On the mountain, down in the valley. You're gonna reap just what you sow. Sow by walking, sow by talking, sow by everything you do. Don't mind no one, just keep on sowing. You're gonna reap just what you sow. Sow good seeds, everybody. Sow good seeds, everybody. On the mountain, down in the valley. You're gonna reap just what you sow. Sow by listening, sow by loving, sow by giving what you can. Listen for what our one is needed. You're gonna reap just what you sow. Sow good seeds, everybody. Sow good seeds, everybody. On the mountain, down in the valley. You're gonna reap just what you sow. We all struggle, we all suffer, we all work to find our way. Stay together and press onward. You're gonna reap just what you sow. Sow good seeds, everybody. Sow good seeds, everybody. On the mountain, down in the valley. You're gonna reap just what you sow. One more time. Sow good seeds, everybody. Sow good seeds, everybody. On the mountain, down in the valley. You're gonna reap just what you sow.
All right, please take a seat for our next one. We're going to slow it down. Let's get that guitar tuned.
There are no countries, there are no sides. I don't know why still in love with it. Down here,
The world is borrowed and incomplete. Its dreams are startled into the stream, tenderly waking like a child. Another new day born inside.
your life is small, you know you could. If nothing else, do something good. Your life is small, you know you could. If nothing else, do something good.
Please rise for our third song in this song block and just follow along. You got this one.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me round. I'm gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let discrimination turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let discrimination turn me round. I'm gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching up to freedom land. All right, you guys got it now. Ain't gonna let no hatred turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let no hatred turn me round. I'm gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no bigotry turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let no bigotry turn me round. I'm gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching up to freedom land. All right, everybody now. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking,
morning, everyone, and welcome to WellSprings. We good? Yeah, it probably is. Welcome to WellSprings, both those here in Bell Hall and everyone joining us online this morning. My name is Don Altimus. My pronouns are he, they, and I'm honored and blessed to be leading our worship service today. Each week when we gather, we light a chalice as a symbol of our shared spiritual heritage as Unitarian Universalists. It is not just a symbol of what is past, but what is present, that divine spark, that inner light that shines at the heart of each of our lives. As we light this chalice, may we share our light with each other and with the world. Anyone of any age may sign up in advance to be our chalice lighter. Just use the link at the bottom of the WellSprings weekly newsletter. Today, we've asked Jen and Quinn to light our chalice, and when they've done so, we'll say the words on the screen together. And together we say, we light this chalice to celebrate the path lit before us, the warmth of kindness that shines from within us, and the radiance of wisdom that is shared between us and never goes out. Good morning. Our mission here at WellSprings is to be a community charged full with the charge of the soul. And deciding what was charging me full was pretty easy, but figuring out how to explain it was not, so I'm going to give it a try. Ultra-conservatives have been playing dirty for quite a while now, and the liberal response was to fight clean. Michelle Obama summed it up with, when they go low, we go high. People grabbed onto that mantra. I was one of those people. It felt good to think about being the one on the high ground. And it made sense because as I learned as a kid that the good guy always wins. I wish it were that simple, but it's not. Sure, when truth is the center of the focus, the good guy does win. But what happens when the truth isn't what's reality anymore? What happens when so many lies are told, so many times those lies become truth for the large part of society? When lies become the narrative for many, the truth looks like a delusion to them, and this creates a scenario where the good guy doesn't win. I find in the focus of information I'm consuming that instead of trying to pass those on the low road by taking the high one, resistors are actually detouring onto the same low road to block the progress. This detour is intentional, going to the same level and refusing to go lower than the others. Some of these detours are comical. If you could put up the slide. So the ICE raids in Los Angeles have been horrific, and there's been resistance to this horrible attack on humans. One of the more comical pushbacks has been from tow truck drivers who wait until ICE agents park illegally, and as soon as they leave the vehicle, tow trucks tow it away. Pittsburgh comedian Steve Hofstetter is an LGBTQIA+ ally who's also vocal in his support of women's rights. He was scheduled to perform in Tennessee 2 days after the anti-public drag performance law went into effect. And in solidarity with the LGBTQIA+ community, he performed his stand-up comedy routine in a dress. This was in 2023, but I just learned about it this week because he is still talking about it and still using it to educate others that drag is not inherently sexual. And Tad Stormer isn't pushing back in a comical way, and I don't think he's really detoured onto the low road, but Tad is a public historian, teacher, and author who's diligently working to educate about the truth of American history, and that American history was not built in patriotism. America was built by resistance. He shares two constants have made this possible: resistance and communication. Information is a critical piece of resistance, and he shared that this is why the backers of Project 2025 are dismantling the Corporation of Public Broadcasting. It's an attempt to stop information. He also shares, though, that broadcasting may make information sharing easy, but it's not required, and communication will still happen. Observing the sharing of information and the resistance that exists in big ways and small ways, and even comical ways, continues to spark hope for me, and that charges me full. This morning, I'd like to especially welcome any newcomers. If this is your first or second time with us, we are so glad you're here. You can see any of our belonging team members to help you get connected, to find out where the bathrooms are, or just have a new friend to sit with. We do have both gendered and gender-neutral bathrooms available. Could I ask my belonging team members to give a wave? We have a virtual connection card available for you to let us know who you are, how to keep in touch, and what we can do to make sure you feel entirely welcome. Anywhere in this room where you see a QR code, it's a link to the online connection card. And if you're watching from home, there's a link in the description below the video. If anyone would like to interact with folks who are joining online this morning, there's a live chat available on YouTube. To access it, you will need a YouTube or Google account. Just sign in and click the live chat button to say hello. Finally, you can always find more information about today's service, as well as upcoming events and news, by scanning the QR code available on the welcome table. Just go by the front doors as you walk into Bell Hall. And now, for our announcements this week, we'll turn it over to our Membership and Communication Coordinator, Beth Trandle.
Hi, my name is Clay Trandle. My name is Wes Trandle.
And I'm Beth Trandle.
I'm right here for your announcements today. Over here, you'll find a QR code that you can scan at any point during these announcements today.
Today after service, the belonging team is having an informal brunch at a local restaurant. If you're interested, you can go back to the back of Bell Hall after service today and look for Casey O'Donnell and Susanna Sinclair, our redheaded duo, and let them know that you're interested in brunch. If you can't make it this Sunday or it's full, we'll be offering this opportunity on other coming Sundays. WellSprings is now offering chargeable goods available online. Our former ministerial intern, Nick Sanchez, set up an online store to sell WellSprings t-shirts and other products online. You can purchase a t-shirt and other merchandise on the site. We'll be adding more goods as they are available. Love Thy Neighbor Chester County is approving an event for racial justice taking place this Wednesday, August 13th in Coatesville. It will be an event at a local church for a burial service and will also include a lunch following. It is recommended that you register for the event, so you can find that information in our weekly newsletter or on Realm. Today's snack is provided by
Julie.
Thank you, Julie. That's all for today. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
I'm not gonna lie, that's become like my favorite part. At WellSprings, the foundation of all we do is rooted in the power of connection, of making space in our hearts and in our lives for each other. This is the part of the service where we honor that connection by greeting one another. We recognize our community's presence well beyond these walls, so feel free to take a moment now to connect and share a greeting in the live chat, or maybe say hello in WellSprings Oasis, our private group on Facebook. For those here in Bell Hall, a reminder to please ask before hugging or approaching closely, and if you prefer to keep distance from others for any reason, just stay seated. That'll be our cue to give you a friendly wave from afar. With gratitude for all the ways we might connect, please greet one another now. Thank you, everyone, for your warm greetings. Thank you, everyone, for those warm greetings. For those here in Bell Hall, are invited to continue conversations at coffee hour, which will take place right here in this room after the service. Thank you, everyone, for your warm greetings. Those who are here in Bell Hall are invited.
Amazing, right?
They're energetic this morning, very energetic this morning. I'll see how many kids in the room respond. Hey, it worked. I do work in an elementary school, so thank you, everyone, for those warm greetings. Those here in Bell Hall are invited to continue your conversations at coffee hour, which will take place right here in this room after the service. I invite you now into our time of generosity, an opportunity to express our gratitude for and commitment to the ways the spiritual community has an impact on all our lives. We sustain WellSprings now and into the future through our contributions. If you'd like, you can use your phone to give. From anywhere, just text WSprings to 73256. It's also easy and convenient to automate your giving on Realm. Our belonging team will be bringing around for those who wish to donate by hand. You can also drop a check or cash donation into the box near the front doors on the welcome table. Thank you for all the ways your gifts support WellSprings. Our offering will now be gratefully received. Having shared energy between us and giving beyond us, let us take some time now to reground into deep and soulful energy that's within. We do this by doing what is simple and elemental in our lives. We take a breath, inhaling and exhaling without rush or hurry, breathing in and breathing out. There's nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be. Let us cultivate peace and experience presence together. As we move into our time of mindful silence, we follow these words from Thich Nhat Hanh. If we want to enter heaven on earth, we need only one conscious step and one conscious breath. wherever it is that we are, whatever it is that we are doing, however it is that we are feeling. Let us remember that peace and presence are always as close to us as our own breath. May this be so for us in this moment. May it be so for us in this day, and may it be so for us in all the days to come. And now I'd like to invite our children in our congregation to join our staff and volunteers in the back of the room for their time in fellowship at Youth Spirit. Are you in Gresh Hall today? Yeah. Youth Spirit will be meeting at Gresh, and grown-ups, please remember to pick up your children from Youth Spirit after the service is over. It is preferred that you take home the same one you brought. And now let's join our band for our next song.
Please rise in body or in spirit. And we've done this one enough now that if you've been here before, I want you to sing along.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What would the boy say to the man? That worry ain't meant for your
That was beautiful, yo. That's the first time our band has also done that on a Sunday Melissa wasn't here. They had to make sure that everything was covered, and it was. It was beautiful. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. This got really short. Dawn, did you make this shorter? Hold on. It's fine. I won't be here long. I'm actually going to be sitting down there anyway. Hold these. So this morning, what is it, August 10th? I'm not going to say the summer's almost over. I'm not going to say it. It's not. We're not even halfway through August. But we are continuing our August tradition here at WellSprings, our annual Neighbors and Helpers message series. We invite people to join us for this series. We get out of kind of our own little worlds, our own heads, our own experiences and stories. And we invite people outside of WellSprings to share a little bit of their experience of life in this little corner of the universe that we all share, in this little corner of the country that we all share. And it's funny, Dawn and I did not coordinate, though I don't know if they chose to talk about what they did because they knew who the speaker was today. But we're talking today a little bit about what's going on in our larger world. And it's not, we'll talk about this as we have our conversation, it's not really about politics for me. It's about values. In our faith, we believe that all people are beloved. We believe that all people are worthy of being treated like they are beloved. And we also believe that every person's story, every person, is worth sharing and hearing because we take as our faith that each human being carries a spark of the divine with them. And each person carries something, maybe not everything, but something we can learn from. One of the ways that we demonstrate and live out our faith is by remembering and protecting that spark in each other as well as ourselves, by protecting each other's humanity. And I know that for many of us in these times that we are living in, we need to remember and protect each other's humanity more than before, maybe more than we've ever realized we need to in our lifetimes. And so I wanted to invite someone to speak with us this month for one of these Sundays who is involved in local efforts, not just big national stuff, but local efforts in our community to push back against dehumanization and cruelty. And it presented an interesting conundrum because these things are intertwined with the political. And I know some of you may have heard of local groups. There are groups like Indivisible, which has a few chapters here in Chester County, the 50-51 movement. There's another local group called Chester County Marching Forward. Great groups doing great work, grassroots organizations, but their work is often very explicitly intertwined with politics in a way that is partisan, which is not appropriate to talk about from our pulpit. That's why I was especially interested to reach out to our guest today, who is Eric Schmidt. He is a local small business owner, but he's also one of the co-founders of a different local group, one that also works often with the ones I just listed. But the group that Eric works with, if you want to start moving forward, Eric, I know it's going to take you a minute, its origin was connected to faith, arising out of the local Quaker community. Eric's group is called Way Forward. You can have that seat if that's all right. And its mission is much bigger than partisan political concerns. It's also about values and humanity. Way Forward describes itself as a group of people who come together to defend the vulnerable, engage in courageous dialogue, and resist injustice and fear. So I'm very grateful to Eric for joining me today for this conversation. And as you can see, Eric is dealing with an injury right now that is affecting his mobility, so we're not making him walk up these stairs. So I encourage you to give him a hand to welcome him while I make my way downstairs. Oh, thank you. Thanks. All right, Eric, thanks again for taking the time to join us.
My pleasure.
Great. Is that on? Let's see.
Hello, testing.
Light it up. Yeah, that one. When it's lit, that's on. You got it. Check it.
Testing. There we go.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So The first question that I ask everyone when we do this August series is, because this series is about getting to know our neighbors, I always ask everybody to share a little bit about their connection to our area. So did you grow up in Chester County? And if not, how did you come to call this place your home?
I was born in Phoenixville. I was the first in my family of 5 boys that was born in Phoenixville.
Phoenixville Hospital?
Phoenixville Hospital,
Yep.
as was my daughter, as was my granddaughter. I spent 40 years plus in Phoenixville, about 20 in Pottstown during the course of my life. I think the biggest connection I have is my business, Colonial Gardens, which I started working at 7 years old there, and now I'm in my 54th year in the same business. So that's
Did your
been my
father
biggest
start the
connection.
business?
My dad started the business.
Okay.
He came out from the Midwest. He was an aeronautical engineer, left GE to be in that business. And when I got out of college, and I had 5 brothers, so they were all working there at one point, he told me I could work there only if I promised I didn't stay. Because,
Oops.
because it was no place for a human being to do retail. And I went and got my all but teaching certification, and I had to decide whether I stayed. And I figured my mission was working at Colonial Gardens, and in the end, it's worked out well for me and I think the community.
That's wonderful. So, as I mentioned in my introduction, you're one of the founding members of this local group called Way Forward. When did Way Forward get started, and could you tell us a little bit of the story of how and why it got founded?
Well, right after the election in 2016, we probably all shared a very similar view. There was a lot of weeping, gnashing of teeth, and disbelief. I certainly was amongst them. And a friend of mine said, hey, there's a meeting at the Phoenixville Friends Quaker Meeting House, and they're going to just kind of air it out and in the Quaker way. And I'm not a Quaker, but boy, Quakers share a lot of values with what you guys have here. I went there, and I remember there's 38 members. I remember counting, or 38 people there, and they kind of pass around a mic. It's kind of you say something, you don't respond to what the person said, you just respect what they say, and then you say something, and everybody passed around. In fact, we have Nathan Ryan here, who's one of the founding members who came today, and he's the Quaker Meeting House representative here. And there's 38 people. Then a week later, we said we should meet again, and 38 people, again, a lot of sharing of thoughts, crying, and then the next time 75, the next time 120, the next time 150, and we outgrew a small meeting house very quickly, and it ended up going up to my store because we had space, and then we moved on to Rose Hall, which is right here in Chester Springs, and we ended up forming committees on education, environment, healthcare, and political action, all based on Quaker values that we had set up. So it was, and we've been together on and off in certain ways for the last 8 years, and we've had up to 60 people that have been elected to office present at our meeting, so we feel like we had a lot of good connection with that part of it, and our mission still is left unaccomplished.
You mentioned that you yourself are not Quaker, and the origin of Way Forward is rooted in Quaker community, but not everyone who's a part of Way Forward is Quaker. Probably at this point, a majority of people, I would imagine, are not Quaker.
Correct.
So how does, and maybe this is a better question for your Quaker co-founder, but how does Quaker spirituality influence the group today?
I think you have the mission statement that really came out of the Quaker values, and even as I hear you guys speak here on the podium, it really matches it all together. And number one is defend the vulnerable is the mission of every church everywhere, I think.
Should be.
Regardless of what your religion is or where you come from. I think the number 2 thing, is the thing that is probably the most Quaker thing of it all. And it's practice courageous dialogue. And that is everybody has value. You have that as a principle here at church. And the difficulty that we have, and I think even us as a Way Forward have, is how do you talk to the people that you can't stand and that you think are ignorant and perhaps you even hate. And it's a challenge because the reality is that we all have value and they have value. And many of my friends voted for Trump. And many of my friends and family have a different value. And how do you connect that dot to getting past that critical stage that we're not talking against each other, but for each other? Because reality is about 80% of what we share is in common and we believe in. And we have to get past that. So even when I talk to my friends or employees, And when I share it, I share things that we would all share. Hey, this tax cut is terrible for people who don't have means. Hey, losing Medicare is going to be affecting some of my employees. I'm against it. And it's hard for them to argue, yeah, well, I don't care about such and such that we know works for us. It depends on it. So we try to find that common ground, but it's a difficult one. We're fighting with it every single day, and we need to reach out. And that's how we will get back what we are losing.
Thank you. New page. This is a bit of a long intro to the question, but and some of you might follow religious and political news as closely as I do. I imagine most people don't. For me, it's professional as well. Does anybody know anything about the recent revisions to the Johnson Amendment? Yeah. You might know when I describe what it is. It's the provision in the U.S. tax code that prohibits nonprofits like churches from endorsing political candidates. Yeah. That you know, right? So recently, the current administration federally made changes to that guidance for religious organizations. They didn't change the law, which is key. They just changed the guidance that they tell people what they can do or not, which seems subtle, but it makes a difference. The law is still on the books, the Johnson Amendment. But the IRS said, no, it's okay. That's not going to be enforced, that kind of thing. For the record, most denominations in America have advised congregations not to follow the guidance, but to continue following the law. Trust me, in clergy Facebook groups that I'm a part of, there's rich debate over whether or not we should do that. My personal opinion is it's a trap, right? Don't do it. And that's also what's guiding some of the denominations that tell us that. But I mention all this because that context for congregations and nonprofits is how we approach these conversations about how our values show up in the way that our government is run and the way that politics influences our lives. And you have some similarities. You're not a nonprofit worker, but you're a business owner. And so while you're not subject to the same laws that churches are, it's still a risk for you, I imagine, to get publicly involved in anything that might be considered political, because you have customers of all different backgrounds. And you take on the risk of alienating them when you decide to publicly wade into these conversations about our values. So for you personally, how do you think about that risk, and what made you choose this sort of local public activist path that you did choose?
Good question, good question. Primarily, we're a garden center that serves everybody, regardless of faith, denomination, all this stuff there, and certainly despite whatever you think politically.
Anybody can buy plants.
Anybody can buy plants. We're the place you go to when you want happiness. When you listen to the news, whatever news station you listen to, you don't come there because you need medicine or milk or bread. You come there to buy happiness. So when you come to our store, what you don't want is a bunch of political dialogue. And we don't make that the case. You're there for that reason, and we appreciate and respect everybody having different views. It helps me in being able to talk to people with different views. We also have employees that have different views than I do, and they know my views very strongly, but they are my friends and they are my employees. So we respect that primarily, first of all. We don't put political signs in front of our store or on our marquee. We don't have who to vote for. We might say vote, but we don't tell you who to vote for. I would like everybody to vote. I tell that to my employees. I give them paid time off to go vote if they want. Like, you go vote, I don't care how you vote. And I know how some of them are voting. I don't care, you vote. And that's important to me. On the other hand, I'm obviously politically involved. I have meetings at my store. I have hosted fundraisers at my store. I speak publicly sometimes in large venues, and my views are known. I work the polls, so I see some of my customers there. They see I'm sitting on the other table of what they may believe. And that's in itself the first risk. But I think we underestimate sometimes the power of the good of what you stand for. So much of what we do as a store, sometimes when people might question what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, if they get to know me, that doesn't seem to hurt it. And if I would say anything, billionaires have no problem stepping up on the podium in an inauguration and sitting there and supporting somebody that we dislike. We have problems with Paramount Media backing down from it, big law firms, big universities stepping down from it. Who's going to step up? And I'm not going to be apologetic that I strongly disagree with what's going on in this world. And we need more people to stand up. And when I have stood up, I would say the overall result is we've had more business. We have more people that understand we have values. You shouldn't back down from your values because you're afraid. People have a lot more to lose than I do. There's people who have no power, have no say, and because I have some and just a little bit, if I don't stand up, who's standing up for them? So I find that we're rewarded for that stance. I've had many customers come to me and say, thank you. And people come from out of our area to shop there because we stand up for values. I would like more people to stand up, because when more of us stand up, it's hard to get us all. We're like a herd of zebras, right? The lion can't eat you all. He might get one of you, but he's going to get confused by the stripes. So stand up and speak your voice.
Amen, Eric. Yeah. I have one more question, and after that, we'll take probably 2 or 3 questions from folks who are gathered here. So start thinking about your questions if you have one. And this is relevant actually to what you just said. You know, you're not a politician. You don't do this for a living. It's not your day job. You're just a concerned citizen who decided to start gathering with other people who felt like you, and then took on a leadership role, decided to start organizing your community in whatever way that you could. What advice do you have, besides it's important to show up and share your values, what advice do you have for other ordinary people who want to find their own way to act in these difficult times for our country?
Yeah, so that's the main word, is act. We all sit, probably most of us sit and consume some type of media. We all grumble to each other and our loved ones and the shared values that we have amongst each other. Perhaps we come here to do that. Perhaps we do it in our home, or we call somebody and say, you see what happened today. That's not a form of action, that's a form of disgruntlement. The other side has always been, for me, the other side of the hate, the division, has always felt comfortable standing up and making their side known. They've always been better organized. They put Project 2025 on the table because they organized it. They spent a lot of money for a lot of years doing that. We that are supporting the vulnerable and defending the rights of people, we're often doing that kind of in our nice little friendly ways, and sometimes being friendly is not good enough. Sometimes we have to get organized. So, when we joined the Way Forward, we wanted to bring people together. I think the strength of the Way Forward and all the groups we talked about is we often will have groups, when we get together, we have much more of a church-type atmosphere where we have friends, we are able to say our disgruntlement, and then we're able to make plans to do actions. And actions are best done often when you get numbers of people. So one person standing on the streets, one person standing on the street. 150 people standing in front of Tesla is an action. And we have found that not only us, but when we combine now, so a lot of what we do is we work, and often with conjunction with Indivisible, often with CCMF, who one of their founders is on our board too, that we have coordinated our powers. Each one of our groups has certain things they do well, and we're certainly different than the other groups in ways. CCMF is great at educational stuff, putting stuff on the table that has flyers, stuff to distribute there. Indivisible, which is just more of a national group, is great at putting big protests together. We're good at getting politicians in, sitting down, having meetings where we can have these interactions, much like this church service, and get that together. But when we get all together, then we end up with 6,500 people in front of the courthouse in Chester County. And then that's on the national news. And then that's not only the national news because it's not here, it's everywhere. And when we have so many people together speaking in any different way, so you don't have to be at the rally, you can be writing a letter, you can be calling your congressperson, you can be sitting at the polls. We also know that by nature, as much as, it's like, I don't like religion, but I like faith. And I don't like politics, but I hate losing the power to make decisions for people. So politics is a necessary evil to get there. We know that. We can't have what we want just by protesting. We can't have just what we want by screaming louder or calling congressmen. We need to vote. And really what happened, very simply in the last election, a lot of us didn't vote enough. And a lot of people we believe were disgruntled. We know politics is a mean that we have to get there. It's just a necessary evil. So join one of these groups, be together. Remember, a bigger herd of zebras is hard to get killed in.
Thanks, Eric. All right, Mike is actually going to come around with a microphone. Oh, I just noticed that, microphone. For anybody who has a question, go ahead and raise your hand. Julie, right up front.
Hello. Thanks for coming. I just want to know where your store is located, because I know all of us love to shop at family-owned businesses, and thank you for that. Thank you for following in your father's footsteps.
So yeah, we're on 724 in Phoenixville, and kind of the far western part of Phoenixville as you get towards Spring City and Pottstown. I'd like to say that we do. Here's a case of doing good things that don't always get reflected. Where, for instance, through the Way Forward, we're doing a fundraiser for Alianzas de Phoenixville. So we'll match the funds that people give dollars. We're raising food because Phoenixville's Hispanic community needs a lot of help right now for obvious reasons. And it's a difficult one because we're sitting here doing something for something that people might feel adversely to what we're doing. And sometimes we'll have a customer speak out negatively to what we're doing. We're not putting on our marquee, but the overall effect has been wonderful because people like you are going, I want somebody that's able to be the gathering point for these people. And it's just the opposite. It makes it harder for the person that is filled with hate to do something. Like when we raised money for Ukrainian people, somebody came up to us and said, how dare you support the communists? And we're like, that's one person. 100 people loved it. So doing the right thing is the right thing. Thanks for asking.
We appreciate you.
Hi, I'm Susan, longtime shopper at Colonial Gardens, and you've been to my house to plant things, but I'm not familiar with Way Forward. So where else can I find more information?
We do have a
Website?
and so if you look up Way Forward, I think Nathan probably can answer this better. It's just Way Forward Online. We have a Facebook group which you can join. Once you join there, you'll be connected to all the groups by nature because almost all of our announcements now are coordinated with everybody. So when there's actions going on with CCMF, Indivisible, and several other groups that meet with us, we try to share that so we kind of multiply the effect of a small group to another group, so we're not duplicating what we're doing here. I think our next meeting is August. This what? No, but our Thursday, but our general meeting is the end of August here at Colonial Gardens. We're going to have a one where we're going to have people speaking about the importance of PA courts. And then we'll have a bigger one in Chester County Library September 8th. So we are available to see online. Interact with us. I'm not on Facebook, weirdly, but I ask you to be on it.
Mike Scott had a question.
So is Ron.
Oh, go ahead, Ron.
We know that what you're doing isn't always healthy. Do you have any fears for your safety for you and your family? Do you watch your back?
Do you feel like you're taking risks or watching? Do you have to watch your back?
No, yes and no. The answer is there's people watching their backs just to get to their home and feed their family. Mine's a small risk. Theirs is a huge risk. So I've gotten past that point. I think after we got Trump out of office the first time, I kind of said, well, we still have a fight, but now he's back in. Now I'm past that point. The risk is everybody's risk. The risk is not standing up for people. The risk is democracy. The risk is the rights of people that are poor. I'm tired of the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer, and the weak getting picked on. And yeah, there's a risk. I can imagine I would get audited. I fully expect that could happen to me. I talk to my daughter, who works at a store, and we talk about the risk, and we're both in the same boat here now. Risking things for righteousness is the right thing to do always.
Scott, do you still have a question? Oh, you changed. Anybody else? Question? It's okay.
I just wanted to follow up.
Yeah, follow up.
So for anybody that's interested in finding out more about the Way Forward, the easy way to do it is there's a website, wayforwardpa.org. And if you go to that website, there's basically nothing there, but you can sign up for the newsletter, which is very complete. Comes out about once a week, and it sort of lists upcoming events, resources, stuff like that. So that's their primary way of kind of communicating with folks, is via our email newsletter.
All right, last call. Anybody? Oh, Carol.
I've found that the first step that I've been able to take is in relationship to family. And boy, is that a hard thing when you know that somebody is so different in their thoughts about our caring for one another, but they have beautiful, beautiful characters and families. You know, they're wonderful people. But to engage someone in your own family and just open your own heart in sharing what you think and believe in a kind way, and then listening to them. And I've found this personally, that there's been an ability to connect and respect each other's position, even though you end up not agreeing. But you also recognize the good that is in everyone, which ties in with our whole service this morning. You know, what is life all about, you know? So my question is, can first steps really start with your own family?
Absolutely, I find friends easier to start with than family, but I'll stick with this statement that we share almost everything in common, and what we share and try to make different is what we shouldn't be focusing on. There's plenty of statistics out there to show you that if you're trying to convince somebody that they're wrong, you're making them be more wrong. Like, you'll dig in. It's a 99% chance that you trying to tell them that Trump's an idiot and I don't believe you're supporting this guy. That's not it. If you talk, as you said, about your shared values, you know, and when I talk to employees or friends that are customers in our store or people that I've known for a long time, I'll start with what we share in common. And they'll usually start with, yeah, I know he's an idiot, but. And I'll say, okay. And then I'll say, you know, but these tariffs they're going to be inflationary. I'm already upping my prices. And I'll share it from my thing here. And I'm not arguing against you. I'm just sharing that. And I said, I'm worried about this customer or employee that's going to lose their health care. And I'm worried about it. And it's hard for them saying, well, I'm not worried about him. Because then you look like a jerk too. You can support a jerk, but when you are made to support a jerk's actions because somebody you personally know is being hurt, they back down. And I know one of our longtime employees who's always voted Republican, he did come up to me. Now, I don't think he voted for Kamala, but he did come, Eric, I didn't vote for him this time. And it was, I like to think it's a lot to do with, you know, talks we had with each other as friends. And that's the way to work on your common grounds.
Thanks, Eric. I agree. The only thing I wanted to add to that is I think there's so much more power. We talk about this in we have a small group at WellSprings 2.0 that I know a lot of you have taken. When you speak from the I, it's more powerful. And so when you speak from, I know someone, or this affects my sister, or this affects my kid, or there's somebody I go to church with. I've learned a lot about what people in their community are experiencing right now from what they share with me. When you make it real and human, which of course it all is, right? And the problem is when you watch the news, it's so minimally human, like it's opinions. And this isn't about opinions, it's about people's lives. So when you can share those stories one-to-one with somebody, that's really powerful. All right, we've gone a little over, I'm sorry. So let's give Eric a hand.
Thank
you so much for joining us again. Band, let's get back up here. And while the band makes its way back on stage, I'll invite you to join me very briefly for a little moment of prayer. God, who knows our stories, this morning, I'm so grateful for each one of our lives. I'm so grateful for all the people here in our congregational community and our community beyond our doors. People we don't know, people whose stories we have not yet heard, but people who love each other, who want to love their neighbors, and who are, even if we don't know it, working for the same things that we are, trying to share that love and spread that love wherever they go. May we remember in our dark moments, in the moments we feel discouraged, that there are more people out there who we haven't met yet, who share our same values and who are working to strengthen love. For these prayers that I've spoken out loud and for the prayers that each one of us is carrying silently on our hearts, we say amen.
Please rise, whether in body or in spirit, and join us in our final song.
You gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move, child, you gotta move. When the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. It may be high, you gotta move. It may be low, you gotta move. You may be red, you gotta move. Maybe you gotta move. But when the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. You got to move, you gotta 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 move. But when the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. You see that man, you gotta move, walking down the street, you gotta move. You see the car, you gotta move, who walks the beat, you gotta move. But when the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. You got to move, you gotta 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 move. But when the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. You may be old, you gotta move. You may be young, you gotta move. You may be weak, you gotta move. Maybe high strung, you gotta move. But when the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. You got to move, you gotta 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 move. When the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. You got to move, you gotta 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 move. When the Lord gets ready, you gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. When the Lord gets ready, you gotta move.
I needed this today. Anybody else? All right. I'm very tired. I'm sorry. I forgot what we say at the end of the service. Clearly, I did need this. No, I know that part. I remember. This light may go out, as clearly it is for me, but the source that sparks this light is always within each of us and between us. And as we extinguish our chalice, we say these words together on the screen. All right. As we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, and to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. Friends, if you took some energy from this service, I ask you to recycle it into reaching out to somebody, having a conversation with someone, maybe not your close family member who you have a lot of baggage with, but somebody in your life who you don't know much about, and just get to know them a little better. Let's put our hands together one more time. Guys, take us out.